Okay, and we're back. So what I got going on this week is I'm still quite busy with that 4L80E, and we can go take a quick look at that if you want to see it. And yeah, here's that 4L80, and it's on its way back together now. So, and then this bench was all covered with parts, and here's what's left to put back in. After I get that done, I need to move on to the valve body stuff, and some work needs to be done on the pump too. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that real quick and show you what I have been working on. And anyway, let's get back to what this video is about. What we're going to do here is it's going to be a real simple video about adjusting the idle jets on an old carburetor like this. So if you're new to my channel, what this engine is a Chevy 283. It's a 1964. That is a Carter WGD carburetor that I did a full rebuild on. Now, the things that are a little bit different about it is that I removed the choke assembly on that because what I'm going to be doing with this, it really doesn't need that. And it'd just be one more thing to worry about. So this carburetor does not have a choke on it, but that should not affect the way we're going to adjust the idle mixture screws on this. Probably what I'll do is, I know of about 2 different ways of doing this. So what I thought we could do, just approach this situation as if you just got done rebuilding the carburetor. Taking it apart, cleaned it, installed the kit, and now it's back on there. So what we can do is, I'll show you how I would get started with this. Okay, so the way I'm going to get started with this is, I got out an old motor's manual, and that's what this book is. And we've got the Carter section here. So this book only goes up to 1963, which I think is okay. Like I said, that carburetor was a Carter WGD, which is what we got here, so a 1960 is as far up that one goes. So we'll just use that one, and this is the Buick section, because for whatever reason the Chevy section in this didn't have a listing for a WGD. And I have heard that sometimes those Carters were like a replacement carburetor for the 283 that year. So I don't know if that's the original carburetor to that engine. So anyway, I think this information here should be good enough for us. Now what we're looking at here is the mixture screws turns open. So the way I'm looking at that is, so for that one there it says 1/4 to 2. So what I think that means is you turn your idle adjustment screw in till it stops, and then back it out 1/4 to 2 turns. That's the way I read it. Now that we have that information, and then I looked up in the other part of the book what the idle speed for that engine was, and it should be somewhere between 450 and 500 RPM. So what we'll do is we'll get the engine started, we'll warm it up a bit, we'll get the idle speed about where it ought to be. But first of all, what we'll do is we'll turn the idle screws in all the way until they stop, and I'll probably back it out 2 turns. Because I think that on this carburetor, the further you back the screw out, the richer it'll be, and the richer it is at this point probably will help us get the engine running. If it were too lean, we might have problems with keeping it idling until we were able to get there and adjust the screw. Now, if you don't have a motor's manual with this information, that's not really a big deal. These turns open seem to be pretty typical across most carburetors, and honestly, I think 1.5 turns out is what it often ends up being for me. Let's go start the engine, we'll warm it up, and then we can move on with this adjustment. Okay, so we're gonna get started out here, and something I've got here I might be able to use for later is a vacuum gauge there. And then the other thing I want to show you is that I hooked up the oxygen sensor to this, so just to make it a little bit more interesting, we can actually look at the air-fuel ratios as we adjust this. So I'll start out by doing what the book said. We'll run this in until it stops. It stopped there. Now you don't want to run that in real tight, you just want to feel it kind of stop in there a little bit. You don't want to wrench that down. And then we're going to turn it out. We're going to turn it out 1, 2 turns. And there's one just like that on the other side. And I will go do the same thing on the other side. So I got both of them backed out about 2 turns, and the engine's all warmed up. So let me start it up, kind of see where we are there. Okay, now let's go to the console and I can show you what it's idling at in terms of RPM, and then we'll see what the air-fuel ratio is too. So we're idling it somewhere between 400 and 500, which is what the spec was for that engine, roughly. And then over here we've got a 10 point, mid to low 10 to 1s air-fuel ratio for that, which is low. We kind of want to bring that up, probably somewhere close to 14. I don't want to get into like stoichiometric air-fuel ratios and what all that means, but what I'm kind of looking for is somewhere around 14, maybe 14 and a half, but probably around 14 with the engine warmed up. So let's go do our first adjustment. And we can see that our vacuum is in the normal range. The way I've been taught to do this in the past, and the way I read it in the manual, you basically start turning this in until you feel the engine kind of start to sputter. Turn it in until you start feeling the engine start to misfire a little bit. There, you can kind of see if I back it up a little bit, the vacuum comes up. Kind of show that it's running a little bit better there, but if I turn it in, it's really starting to do something there. And then once I get to that point, what I usually do is just back it out a half a turn. So let me go do the same thing on the other side. It's starting to miss there, so I'm going to back it out a half a turn. And there's the vacuum reading. Now let's go have a look at what our air-fuel ratio is now. Okay, so that brought it up to about 12.5 to 1. And it also brought our idle speed up a little bit, which I can kind of control that here at the console a little bit. Okay, so with the idle speed back down just below 500 there, our air-fuel ratio is about 13 and a half, high 13s there, which that's not too bad. That might actually be about what you want. Let me go in and turn those screws in just a little bit more on each side, maybe like eighth of a turn, maybe quarter of a turn. Yeah, it looks like our RPM is still right about there, around a little under 500. And I'm liking that air-fuel ratio. I think that's pretty good. I can do one other thing I've heard in the past. So the last thing I've ever heard of was you adjust your idle mixture screw until you get the best vacuum. So we can try that. think that's about as good as I can do on that one. Let me go do the other side. I think that's the best I can do right there on both of them. Now let's go check our air-fuel ratio again. So we're up around almost 16 to 1 there, which kind of seems, that's kind of high to me. But that did seem to give it the best vacuum. Anyway, let's go back and I kind of like the other way a little bit better. So what I think I'm going to do is, it seemed like backing it out a half a turn off of when it started to stumble, that gave it a little bit too rich. So I think I'm going to go back in and do the same thing, only go back out a quarter of a turn. Backed it out a quarter of a turn after it stumbled. I backed it out a quarter of a turn on that one, so let me go do the same on the other. Let me go look at the air-fuel ratio one more time. Okay, we're still at just about 500, maybe a little bit less, and we're right around 14.2. I'm not 100% sure. I think I like that the best. So going in, turning the screw in until it stumbled, and then backing it out a quarter of a turn on this engine seemed to be about right. I'm kind of liking that there. So, I don't know, we did a couple of different ways there. Let's go wrap this video up. Just to wrap this video up, we just went over a couple different ways of adjusting your idle jets there. So anyway, just not a real big video this week, but hopefully it's of some value to somebody. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week, and I'll see you next time.